VideoExpress and my secret workflows creates videos for me while I sleep.
Hello, everybody. So super excited to talk to you today about our secret workflows that we have for you on VideoExpress and how to make it super exciting. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll get rolling right now. So let me share my screen here real quick, and then we'll get rolling here. All right. So in VideoExpress, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about specifically how to utilize some of these workflows that we have, and specifically also on the two things that I talked about in the previous live stream and webinar that we did. We'll go on top of that as well. So one of the things that, if you recall, and I'm going to leave that link up here, this is where I'm going to be posting all the workflows going forward that you can basically get up and running real quick. It's basically this page that is the videoexpress.ai/workflow page, right? So just make sure that you go into this page, and then you can keep an eye on these workflows that I have for you. Okay, so you see that link there, and then basically the page that looks something like this, and you're going to come here, and this is where I'm going to be adding in the workflows and stuff like that. When I covered the previous session, one of the things that came in was some of the simplification things that was suggested to be done. So that's what I've been focusing on as well, to simplify things for you on these workflow front and basically simplify this across the board. All right. So now, one of the things, because we're live here, I want to simplify the process, yes, but I also want to walk you through the mistakes that happen and some of the things that might go wrong. This is the most important thing you need to understand when you're trying to do with anything like these workflows and these things, which might sound complicated in a nutshell, but not really, right? So that's what I'm going to be showing you today, to walk you through step by step. And it's going to be done in a way where I'll show you the workflow, I'll show you the mistakes that could occur, and I'll also show you how to integrate with VideoExpress. Now, two components are very critical here. And while I'll walk you through these and the simplification that I've done for you from prior, and a new workflow I've added as well for you, which I'll walk you through today as well, because I don't want you to jump into that before I show you some of the steps to get the outputs. Okay. Now, one of the things that comes in, and I've seen that in the previous comments and some of the things that I've seen in the previous workflows and stuff that I shared with you, and I want to address those as well, is why are we not doing full automation? See, because I've been talking about this idea, which is, hey, you sleep and you can get these level videos that I have in these workflows, right? And how you can get these, sure, while you sleep, but there's one issue. And that issue is what I want to address as we go along, which is YouTube and some of these platforms have been not actually kind for fully automated YouTube channels, right? We call these faceless YouTube channels and stuff. The last couple of months, especially, they've been going on a hammer to really bring down a lot of these automated AI channels. And I'll walk you through what they're looking for as well in order to ensure you're monetized. Also, I'll walk you through why, even though you can systemize and automate 95% of it, the last 5%, I still want you to do it manually. Okay. And that's the only way you can actually be up to speed with things, and also make sure that you're doing it the proper way. The last thing you want is you do all this stuff, you come to these live streams, you learn, and then you don't get monetized on a YouTube account, or maybe you don't get any views, or you get what's called shadow banned, which is effectively meaning you're never going to get any views. Okay. So I'll address those as well. And that's the difference. Okay. So when we discussed in the previous workflow that I shared with you, I've simplified a lot of the things for you. Okay. So for example, if you come in here and then you come into this idea to 3D workflow that you see here that I have. So let's start the chat here. I'll show you. So this is, by the way, all in that link that you see there. You can go there and you can access it right away for free. Okay. So when you come into this, I'll just simplify this. You'll see here, you see this is the workflow. What it says is idea to 3D short film workflow, and turn any simple idea or prompt into complete short films with all the image and video prompts, right? So now, I haven't done it in a way where, for example, where I say the idea as well is done by us. This is what we mean by that 5% being manual. Because if I say, and I say it's a cartoon 3D film that focuses on emotional triggers, let's say, or nostalgia, and I put that, and I tell you only two characters, it's always going to be grandfather, grandson, or grandmother, granddaughter, or something. And if thousands of people do the same thing, that's going to be a big red flag. Okay. So this is what I kind of wanted to talk about today in a nutshell, which is when you're using this workflow, and I want to stress this point very heavily, think of it this way. Okay. We put this in blocks, right? Of how the platform really works. Okay. So this is block 1, block 2, and then let's put it in block 3. So how you have to treat this whole thing is very simple. We don't complicate it too much, right? The idea is that we still do that 5% idea, right? The idea is still done by us, right? We do the idea part. And then the next part is where the image, right? The images, let's say, and the video prompts are automated for us. Okay. So the idea here is very simple. This is the part where we can use some creativity. And I'm going to give you some ideas of the creativity as well. It's just that I don't want to make have like thousands of people just copy the whole thing and then you have into an issue. Okay. So what YouTube and other platforms are doing is when you generate the complete video, right? Like this, like when you generate this whole thing, what they are doing is what's called basically a fingerprint, right? So it's called a fingerprint. This is how the algorithm works. Okay, fingerprint. And what that means, in other words, is if everybody has the exact same prompt, everybody has the exact same style of video, everybody has the exact same type of image and stuff, that video will have what's called a fingerprint. Okay. So I know some of you guys can see me that well or whatever. So let me just adjust this a little bit and so you can see it clearly. So I'll make myself a little bit tinier. So this is the fingerprint concept. Okay. So the idea with the fingerprint concept is that when you create a video, it is forever in the database of these YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And what that means in a nutshell, okay, is very important you understand, is that when you try to chop that video into pieces, or when you try to just change the title a little bit or change the intro a little bit and then keep the whole video, it's still considered duplicate content. And then that will hurt your sales quite a bit or your traffic or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Okay. This is very important. And the second thing, when I talk about idea to short film, this is the workflow. Then there's another one I'm going to share with you. And even if you want to talk about like realistic or 3D or whatever, understand we need to put our video process into what's called buckets. Okay. What I mean by that in a nutshell, and I'll explain to you here more clearly so that you can see this. So if we go back here real quick, what we mean by buckets in a nutshell is very simple. So what YouTube wants to see is what is the style of the video and the target audience. Okay. So let's say I'll put what's called TA is target audience, right? Are we trying to basically try to get as big of an audience as possible? Okay. Is it going to be as big of an audience? Okay. Then you're basically trying to effectively engage audiences, right? So at that point in time, shorts, right? Short form content. At that point, for example, it's going to be like high action, high impact, that kind of stuff, right? That's going to be more important, right? So let's say action. And then this is the type of stuff. So meaning we're trying to go viral. Okay. Viral is the top metric we are trying to go for, correct? That if that is what we want to do, we want to do that. Or here's the thing. And the other one is education. Okay. Sort of like what I'm trying to do right now, right? Trying to educate you. Here, okay, you don't need to be high action. You don't need to just create short form. You can do a little bit longer form. And the other thing is that here, views are not as important. Okay. And we are going to be in the mix of both of these as time goes on. All right. So it's going to be a mix of either trying to go what's called viral, or we're trying to go into more that education space. And what's separating the great ones to the average ones, and if you're doing average stuff nowadays, it's kind of pointless anyways, right? Is what we're finding out, and we do this test over millions and millions of subscribers. Last month got like about 30 million views across our channels, right? And watch time was like whatever, hundreds and hundreds of hours. Now, what's the reality is that YouTube and these platforms are trying to value what's called one of one. Okay. One of one. What that means, in other words, is if I'm trying to do education only and I want to educate people on certain topics, what makes my style and my content unique? That such that it becomes one of one. For example, in my case, let's say, right? If I say idea to 3D short film workflow for VideoExpress. That's one of one, because I created one of the co-founders of VideoExpress. And because I'm creating a workflow for that, that is a one-of-one kind of a concept. That will always have a lot more traction than if I say idea to short film workflow and then it's very generic, right? It can be like, hey, everybody's talking about this new platform that came or that or whatever. There's no, like, for example, idea to short film workflow, OpenClaw, let's say, if I said that. There's too many people doing it and it just is not as unique anymore, okay? So in a way, although I'm going to teach you how to automate today things and simplify things, I want you to understand that automation should not be 100%, still has to be creative. So, for example, what I've seen recently, and I've seen people, who have channels with like millions and millions of views, stop posting, okay, last 3 or 4 months. Why? They got demonetized. What was the reasoning behind that? Well, it's because there was zero creativity involved. So when YouTube or these platforms will ask you, hey, show me why it's not fully automated, you have to say, hey, I went in and I did the work of coming up with the idea myself, right? I did a concept that is unique to me, right? Or I did, for example, some elements in the video that was done manually. You have to show that, or else if it's 100% automated, it is going to get you into issues. And you're going to put in the same effort anyways. If it's 95% automated or 100%, the effort is going to be the same, right? Almost like 99% of the same. So this is the reality, okay? So today, I'll walk you through how to do that 95% automation, okay? Such that you're thinking long-term and not short-term. The last thing I want to do is I spend all this time and, we build VideoExpress and the workflows and all this stuff, updates we're making for you, is we teach you to think like a robot rather than a human, right? Because the people who'll be watching are humans, not robots, right? So at the end of the day, those people, just like you, just like me, they have certain needs and wants and problems that we're trying to solve. And that's what we're trying to use the AI for here. Does that make sense? All right. So before we get into this, that's what I wanted to mention. All right. So in the previous event, I showed you how we can create an entire workflow to then just copy and paste these things into VideoExpress to generate the videos and generate the images and stuff like that. And I did not give you the concept of an idea. And of course, you can use ChatGPT or you can use Gemini. I've given you both of those options in that workflow page. So one of the things that I wanted to mention here while we get started is basically the idea concept, right? What part of the idea are we trying to do? So as an example, say I'll not even put the pro, it doesn't even really matter. So you can use any account, right? Even a free account should be fine. Just make sure though that if it's too long of a chat window, just create a new one, because sometimes ChatGPT, the free accounts, they might restrict you. Keep it in mind, right? Or pay for it, it's fine, $20, whatever, right? So anyway, so the idea here is that you just come up with the idea, it will do the whole thing, right? Whether it's 3D stuff. So for example, in the past, I talked about certain styles. So I'll show you today what you can do. So let's say, for example, grandson is missing his grandma's favorite pasta, right? As she, passed away a decade ago or like a few years ago, right? Years ago. So he is trying to recreate her secret pasta recipe and is nostalgic about it because he's unable to, create the same thing, right? This is basically the idea. Okay. Now you can come up with ideas like this through, again, ChatGPT, but I don't want to even automate the idea part for you, because if that you eliminate the human element, it's going to be where you're going to be a drone now, right? Thinking like a robot. So that's the idea. So you can even ask, right? Like you can even, for example, come up with nostalgic ideas. So what we say in frameworks and copywriting and stuff is that we basically always, talk about nostalgia being one, fear of missing out, FOMO, okay? We talk about, for example, something that elicits fear, something that will elicit greed, or something that will elicit emotions, right? Nostalgia does that. So in cartoon stuff, I like to use nostalgia. okay, as a keyword. And I also like to use something that to reminisce, right, people. And then I also try to use, for example, something that'll connect with people emotionally. Nostalgia is one of them. But you can also do fear of missing out, or like saying weight loss. That's a big thing, right? Fear of missing out and stuff. So anyway, and then also greed could be in terms of money, in terms of fame, in terms of results or outcomes or whatever, right? So you can either, like there's a saying, right? You can either push people towards pleasure or pull people towards pain. But either way, you want them to solve a problem, right? Whatever the problem is. And with entertainment is a problem that people are trying to solve for, right? They're stressed out, they want to be entertained. So that's another thing you can do. Okay. Anyway, so you see here what we did, and I wanted to kind of highlight this part because it's very important, is you see actor portrait descriptions we have here. Okay. And then we have actor 2 close-up shot. Okay. So what we did here, and I simplified this from before, and again, you can follow along with this workflow setup here. So let me show you. That is the link that you will see. You can follow along the workflow there, and you can access this. So basically what I did is I did this idea to 3D, and I've simplified this from the previous session where it gives you exactly what you need without any of the fluff. People asked me, can you simplify it? Because before it was giving you ambience and time of the video, and it was telling you like these big charts and stuff. It's easy now. Okay, so here, what do we do here? In a nutshell, actor 1 is basically the consistent character we are trying to create. Okay, in this particular case, it could be, in this case, it's the young man in his late 20s. And here, as you can see, it's the elderly woman in her 70s. Clear? And so, and by the way, same logic applies for realistic as well. So what I will do is actor 1, I'll just copy this. Okay, one more time. Just copy this. I'll open up VideoExpress. Okay, I'll go into this option right here, create video from prompt. And then what I'm going to do is in the image prompt, okay, I'll right click and paste. Okay, so I'm like this. All right. And then what we will do is here in human, we're going to pick 3D because this is a 3D style. And so then we're going to create an image. So in this particular case, because my prompt is already adjusted very well, just make sure that you uncheck this part. This, you see this part right here. I want you to uncheck that. All right. So one of the mistakes people make always is they check this when their prompt is already enhanced. You don't have to uncheck this. Okay. Very important. And then you uncheck this part, and then you'll be going to the next step. All right. So let's do that right now. And then let's create the image. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is right now, step number 1, I created the grandma. Now, while this is getting created, sorry, in this case, it's the young man. And then now let's create the grandma. All right. So here, actor 2. So I went back to the GPT, which is the automation workflow. I come in and copy this. Okay. And then I'll come back here. Okay. This is the image, right? So just click on save image. All right. And then we come back. All right. And then we'll just remove this, and then we'll get the grandma now. Okay. Pretty straightforward. So we'll come here, and then we're going to generate 3D again, and then create. I'll remove the automatic enhance. Okay. Because the prompt is already pretty good, and then create image. Okay. And if you notice carefully, we added a new feature called use from library here. You see this little part right here that I want to highlight, this part right here. This is basically where you can upload, for example, any image that you want to bring in, okay, as well. So when you do this, for example, it can use, without having to go through AI a second time around. Is that clear? So in some cases, you want to use your photos and keep it as is and stuff without having to regenerate with AI second time around and stuff, and pass to the video generation part, that image. This use from library would help there, okay? And so let me save this grandma as well. Okay. So now we have 2 characters. Okay. Following along here, we have 2 characters, character 1 and then character 2. So we have these 2 elements here. All right. Now what we do is, in a nutshell, we have these 2 elements. We go back. Okay. So let me walk you through in a nutshell what's happening here. You see, we have shots here, right? Scene, storyboard, generation prompts. And because of the fact that VideoExpress generates both the images, consistent character, and also the videos. So what we are trying to do is we generate the images and then we generate the videos as well. So here, as you can see, text to image prompt, cinematic 3D animated style of actor 1, tired brown eyes, blah, 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 and actor 2. So actor 1 would be that 20-year-old grandson, right? And actor 2 and so on. So let me go back here. And so now that we have the consistent character set up, you just come in here, very simple. You're going to select use consistent character. And then we're going to select both these characters as well, depending, okay? In this particular sequence, if there's only one, I'll only do one, you know? If it is two in that sequence, I'll do two, okay? So go to reference image. And then if I go in here and then go to my images. So this was the gentleman here, the grandson. Okay, now we have the image, right? So we want to create the sequences, the images and stuff. So I'll just copy and paste the same prompt. Right? Remember, we did the cinematic 3D of actor one and on and on. And then, so we just do this and then copy and paste. Okay. Again, I don't want to enhance my image prompt if I'm doing this workflow. You can, obviously, depending on if you want to do that extra thing where it's not generating what you want, for example, and then you can create the image, right? And then it's going to generate two images. What we're doing with two is we're going to give you two variations to pick from. That's why we do two. It costs us more money to do two, but the reason why we do it is sometimes, you know, the lighting might be slightly off. Sometimes, you know, certain elements are slightly off. So here you see how in this particular case is checking it this way. And in this particular case is checking it down. He's reading it. So I like this better because he's actually reading something, right? So I can select this and you see its checkbox came in. And then what I will do then is I'll go back here. And then you see here, it says 0 to 2 seconds and on and on. It tells us close-up shot and blah, blah, blah. And you can see, right? It just takes a couple of seconds to do this. I just go into the video prompt, boom, paste this. Okay. And then I will just click on the advanced mode. That's it. I'll not do anything, just advanced mode, because this is the advanced workflow. Okay. Where you can do the whole thing. So now you just click create video. And then while this is being done, you just go in because you can do parallel generations with VideoExpress, okay? You don't have to wait for one. Like, you know, you generated with like Google, Gemini, or some of these platforms out there. You have to wait for one of the video to finish before you do the other one. Here, you don't have to do any of that stuff, which is awesome. All right, so now let's go back to shot two. Shot two is about actor two. It's basically the grandma here. Okay, so I'll just, in this particular case, because only one person, if both of them, you want to give both references, right? So that's why it's optional. So we'll go back here, we'll just pick the grandma for now, here. And then I'm just going to delete this and just generate another image. Boom, I pasted it, I'll remove the enhance. We're going to remove this enhance prompt when you copy paste it. That's another thing we have in a checklist. So when you paste a prompt yourself, we'll uncheck the automatic. Okay, it's copy paste, automatically detected. So we'll do that for you to simplify. So now it's generating the image, right? So now I'll go in here while it's doing this again, boom, come here, copy. And behind the scenes, it's generating us the video, however long it takes us to generate that video, right? So let's go here. And you see this grandma, you can pick whatever you want. I'll select this. I'll go back here, copy paste, right? And then advanced mode again, and then click generate. So I come back here again, shot two. Now this is shot three. See, behind the scenes, it's doing this stuff. So now I can set up this whole shot framework and go to sleep. That's the basic idea. And then once all the videos are finished, then come back, merge them together, which I'll show you in just a sec. And then you can do so. Is that clear? And then you see the cinematic 3D animation of actor one again is trying to recreate the pasta recipe, right, of the grandma. So you come back here and then you can again pick this. And you can, once the two of them come, I'll show you how that would work. It's pretty straightforward. Come here. There you go. I unchecked it automatically. Click create. Boom. And then that video is being, image is generated. Now you just come in here, boom, you select it. And you see, it also says actor one says quietly, something's still missing because trying to create the grandma recipe, right? So basically come back here and then you paste. Okay. And then you see, this is the frustration, right? It's like something is missing. And as you can see here, it's very frustrated. So I'll select the frustrated one. This one is not as frustrated, right? So that's why we have two images so you can pick what you like. And then I'll just, I pasted this video prompt and just got create. And behind the scenes, all these videos are being created manually, or well, automatically, let's say. See, it's showing me, right? The videos are generated and stuff. So shot four, let's see here, and same thing, right? So in this particular case, actor one and actor two and on, right? In the end, you'll see a situation where you see this right here, cinematic 3D animated for actor one and actor two in an emotional memory sequence, right? This is where you're going to use both of them, okay? Where both of them are in the same shot. So the AI did all this work for me, right? So come back and I'm going to go actor one and then come back and do the grandma here again. And there we go. And then you're going to just one sec here. Yeah, we're just going to delete this and paste this and then remove the enhance. And so now what's happening is that it will do, see this actor one, actor two, both of them will be in that one scene. And if it fails, I'll show you how to fix it as well in case it does. All right. And that's the reason why I've automated the stuff for you, by the way, so that you can do all these things. And if mistakes happen, how do you fix them as well? Okay. There we go. This is pretty good. Let's see the second one. And while that other one is being generated, by the way, we can go back here. You see this? You can go back here where they're both discussing with each other. See, she replies, the grandma replies, blah, 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 right? So let's do that. So which one is good here? Let's see here. So both of them are talking, as you can see here, almost the same, right? Both of them look the same. So there's no real difference, I guess. I mean, maybe you can pick this one for the timing because I always keep picking the second one. Doesn't really matter. You're just going to copy paste. You're going to select this. You can delete this. And then you're going to paste. All right. So now this part, again, because advanced mode is on, because the setting is saved, because once you create the workflow, the setting is saved to create. So now what's happening is both of them conversing video is being done behind the scenes. All right. Pretty much. All right. So then if you see here, we got all the shots, right? One of the things that was asked in the past, in the questions that came in the previous event was, hey, can I stretch this further? Right? It's 10 sequences. Yes, that's why I gave you the GPT. So you can say, for example, create new shots and extend the story. And the new shots and scenes should be from shot 10 to shot 15. Okay. And then you can add that and it will create that. You see? So that's the reason why I did this. You see, it recreated the shot 10. Okay. So where you see it says Mystery Grandma, it again redid that and continued this. You see shot 11, and then shot 12, shot 13, and 14, depending on long form, short form, whatever we're trying to achieve. We continue this. That's the beauty here of this flow, right? And the reason why we recommend ChatGPT and even Gemini is the same thing, right? With Google, same logic applies. So for example, I'll show you same thing, right? Let's say copy. I have my Gemini gem as well. Like, so meaning if you come back here, you see it says idea to 3D animated short from Google Gemini custom video gem, and you can go and copy this link. And let me open up this in Gemini, right? So let's open this up. So this is the Gemini thing, right? And same logic, okay? If I go back into the GPT, so if I can copy this text, whatever the story is, and you can do, because some people don't like ChatGPT, let's say, let me do this. And then you'll see this, right? So same logic, nothing really changed, right? You see this? It's just the platform. So that's it, right? I mean, if you prefer Google Gemini, you can do that, but the logic is the same, you see? And you can use free account pretty much to get this rolling, okay? If you have a Gmail account, you can go to Gemini and use this as well. So you see that, right? The logic is the same. All right. So now let's go back here. And that was another thing people were asking, okay? So again, you can stretch these things and you can shrink it to whatever you want. And we don't want to get into the chat business because ChatGPT is giving it to you for free or very subsidized because they're raising billions of dollars, same with Google. And they do a decent job, right? There's no point for us to like give you something else that they already do effectively that's available for free, right? And anyway, so this is the idea, right? So we can stretch it further and you can do it. So now once you're happy with what you got, right? And you can copy paste this throughout, right? I can do so quickly, like maybe in 5 minutes and do all these things, right? Just copy paste, right? Nothing really fancy there. And then you can even control it a little bit, how you want to do it and all that. So anyway, once you're happy with the videos, you're going to see them in your media library here, right? You see this? While I was talking, all these were created. I could be sleeping, same thing. So then you can just drag and drop these right here, already generated this stuff. And then you'll see right here. So let's do this. So you can play it if you want, right? There, you see? So it generates the whole thing for us. And I can do that over a minute, 2 minutes, whatever I want, right? I can keep extending the storyline as well if I want to. So pretty interesting, right? Now, I want to kind of talk about this idea as well of why this is so important that, if we automate some of these things, the emotional impact is lost, right? And the other thing I wanted to mention as well is, you see, we created these sequences here in this page right here, see that? And you see this, if you generate all the scenes together and then 2 or 3 scenes are bad, you're going to have to regenerate the whole thing many times and then go to the manual process of doing it. It's kind of a pain. And again, what YouTube you can show to, if at any point in time they're going to say, well, it's AI generated, you can say, hey, I come to this application, I generate it, I edit it together, I add my own customization elements, I add my own filters, I do fast cuts here. You see there's a fast cut workflow here if you want to add fast cuts. You see fast cut transition between each clip. So what it will do, you see this fast cut toggle, you can add them into the clip. So then what will happen is, you see the transitions will be automated here if you do the fast cut, right? Which I just did. So this is the fast cut. And when you activate it here, they show up here like so, or you can double click on this as well. So for example, right now it's activated, but if it's not activated, it's going to look like this. You see, it's like white toggle. Actually, I'm blocking myself here. So let me do it here. So you can see it. So it's on the left of the screen. Let me make myself like so you can see there. Okay. All right. You see that little area? That's when you click on that, you can activate that. I've activated it right now, as you can see. So anyway, now let me go back here and then we'll show you. So anyway, once you've activated it, let me show you what happens, right? So it's just a lot more fast paced. Okay. It does the animation, and you can do styles here, rotation nonstop, and it shows you the preview of these things. And you can see that's the fast cut and some of the other elements we've added in here as well to simplify it for you. Okay. And then you can save this project. Okay. Grandson cooking or something, right? And then this one, and then you can now open it at any time, like it's going to be here, right? So I have another one here I created in the past. You see the watchmaker thing from the previous webinar I've done. Same logic, right? Or even, let's say, spokesperson style one, let's say like these, right? And you see right here, some spokesperson style ones, you can do mapping off and stuff like that. Okay. Now, same logic, if you see carefully, what we are trying to do is that manual stuff to slightly, think about it like a human is watching, kind of crop it to make it a little bit better, kind of snap them back in a little bit. You're thinking it from that logic rather than from a logic of like, I'm just going to automate the whole thing. And then if everybody does AI stuff, where's the creativity, right? It looks like what's called AI slop. You want to avoid that. Okay. So I want to talk about that as well, right? Okay, this is the workflow for 3D film, right? I mean, you can go on and basically continue this. That's what I did here in that workflow page. Now, we did also the realistic one. I've simplified this as well. Where the difference for the realistic actually is we want to do jump cuts to kind of create the activity. Okay. And this is the biggest mistake I've seen people make. And I kind of want to talk about that as well. Okay. So let's just generate this one. I'll show you real quick. So this one, the idea to short film, right? One of the things people make a mistake of, and I'm trying to teach as much as possible on this, is that the attention span of the average person, right? The average person's attention span right now, it's a shame actually. So I'll tell you, in about exactly 1926, okay, the average attention span was 55 minutes, okay? 55 minutes, meaning the average person, because there was no mobile phones and computers and stuff in 1926 or 1906, whatever, 100 years ago, just about there, 80 years ago, around there, right? 55 minutes. In 2006-ish, okay, 2006, the average attention span was just around 8 minutes, okay? Just around 8 minutes. This was there. And now, okay, if you say 2026, can you guess what the attention span is? Let me know in the chat box. Can you guess? Okay, you'll be shocked. It's 8 seconds. Okay, It's even beyond that. Like I've seen like my own, it's so sad. Like these live streams I make, I prepare so much. I come on and stuff and I see, right, about 50, like almost 35 to 50% of the people leave within the first 3 seconds. Okay. They don't like my face or they don't like what I'm showing. Gone. Right. So it's even, I'd say even 8 seconds is probably not exactly accurate. Probably more like 3 seconds. Okay. Right now. But that's what stats say. Okay. So let's just go with that. So what's happening because of that is there's this, if you say misnomer, misconception people have, which is, and I'll get to that as well in these workflows, is that, hey, I see one of the things here is if you go into these sequences, right, whatever the sequences are, let's say, of these elements, we will say, well, for example, with VideoExpress, well, you can do up to 10 seconds, right? I want to do 1 minute, let's say. And then what I'm seeing people make the mistake of is they try to keep extending, okay, extending the same clip, which is in other words, like the same gentleman, right? Again and again. And I can tell you, I've tested this myself just to prove it. The issue becomes where if the same person is blabbering for too long about a topic without much action or animation, and even in an educational basis, without demoing things or having the screen change quickly, you lose 60 to 70% of your audiences. Okay. And it's just unfortunate. The attention span is a problem, right? So what I'm trying to explain is the advantage of VideoExpress, okay? And this is something I want to always tell people. The advantage of VideoExpress is the ability to do those jump cuts to different sequences. Like, for example, from here to this sequence, if I highlight it, you see it's moving around, right? Like people are like moving from one sequence to the other, like this. Say like, right? Keeps moving around and you can play around with different aspects. Of course, this one is vertical, but even on the grandma, grandson, or like the elderly watchmaker one from this one, right? I'm moving the sequences, you see? Like I'm moving it constantly. The reason why that makes it more exciting, right? Even in Hollywood, if you see, you don't see other than monologues, right? Where it's one sequence forever. You'll see a lot of action sequences where the angles are changing. One person speaks, the other person, the camera moves to, and all that, right? So that is the reality of the situation. That's another reason why I would say if you want to create a lip sync style video for long format, I would recommend the Talking Photos application because that was the fine-tuned one. Even for singing, let's say you want somebody to sing and play a guitar for like 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever, Talking Photos is better than VideoExpress. Okay. So in other words, like if you go into our applications, that you will see that as well, right? So for example, I'll show you. So for example, like the Talking Photos application, like I'll put that up in the link here. That's better for like long form lip sync because it's only good for certain use cases. Like you're trying to educate somebody on something, or like, you're trying to tell them something or whatever. That application is better because we've spent 8 months to fine tune it for like a song. You just upload an MP3 file and then it will have the person playing a guitar or an instrument and it'll sing all the way through. So it'll be consistent. Or let's say in the case of, for example, even in specific cases, right? Like in the case of, you want the person to be seated in a location and speaking for long form, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, or more, right? That application, what I just put in the screen, is much better for this. This one is leveraging the aspect of VideoExpress, is leveraging the aspect of continuity and also interest, engagement for longer periods of time. Okay, does that make sense? So it's very important, right? Because when I try to do these demos, I want to explain to you in the algorithm, okay? So as I said, like, we drink our own Kool-Aid, so to speak, right? Like in our own channels and stuff like that. As I said, we're getting hundreds of millions of views in a given year, thousands of hours of watch time, not just on YouTube, but other platforms as well, like Facebook and all that stuff. So the goal is what matters, okay? What are we trying to achieve? If you understand the goal, then you can reverse engineer the process backwards, okay? So for example, one of the things that I want to mention when it comes to the realistic workflow, right, which I'm trying to explain to you right now, and this is quite important, and I can tell you that after experimenting so many times, is this concept where view count is not, and subscribers, okay? View count and subscribers, after you get monetized, right? So after you get monetized in these platforms or whatever, they're not as important anymore. view count, and also, let's say, for example, subscribers. Okay. Subs. Why is that the case? Sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? Like, why would that not be as relevant? Well, it's because every video is treated as a brand new thing by platforms, right? TikTok started in 2020 and everybody's copied it since then. So your first video, if it's engaging and interesting and explains something, it'll get views right out of the gate. Because what YouTube and these algorithms and these platforms are doing, it's very important, okay, is that they'll have 200 people they'll show your video to first, okay? And then they're going to find out what is the graph for that, like with basically like average, what's called average watch time, okay? Average watch time, okay? In other words, what that means is like, if you have a 1 minute video, how many people, let's say 200 people watched it, how many people finished the whole 1 minute, right? That's the average. So let's say average watch time in that case is, let's say 30%, right? So meaning on average, 30 seconds was watched by overall, like meaning some people watched 10 seconds, some people watched 40, but most people were in the middle somewhere, which is 30 seconds, right? So YouTube is going to say it's a 1 minute video, only 30%. So that's about 50%, right? That's bad for short form content. You need to be around that 70% mark, okay? So the good for the platform is about 70%. Okay, you see what I'm trying to say? So the idea is that when it's 70%, they're going to send it to another 200 people, okay? And if it's true that it's maintaining that 70%, then you're going to say 2,000, 20,000, 200,000. That's how videos go viral and reach, okay? Now, but you see what I said, view count doesn't matter. It's because these other algorithms play a part in the grand scheme of things, okay? And when you're trying to utilize these new platforms to your advantage. What I want you to actually understand is the goal of the purpose you're trying to achieve. So for example, in my videos here that I'm trying to do, I don't need millions of views. I just need specific amount of people who will actually understand the value that I provide here. And so my goal is when it's coming to education, okay, and this is the key thing I want to mention here, okay? If your goal is to get clients or traffic or leads and sales, and you're in this way, it's even if you get 1,000 viewers, right? But targeted to your topic, it's much better than getting 1 million viewers and views and it's not even targeted, right? And this is the biggest misconception people have that prevents them from starting. They don't want to look like bad by just getting like 500 views or 1,000 views for something because it doesn't look as cool as somebody getting 1 million views, right? But the reality is it's probably going to make you more money if it's targeted to that subject, okay? And so what I'm trying to say is that the fundamentals of video making will work, what I'm teaching you right now in automating, but understand you cannot teach AI this stuff, okay? I've tried, it's not working. The idea of understanding, okay, a human being's attention span is 8 seconds. A human being's attention span means that if it is not important for them, they will skip a video within 3 seconds, okay? So what do we do in the first 3 seconds? Matters. Now, the second thing is that the human being wants a problem and a solution, right? AI will get us to have AI or these things, these workflows and stuff is basically getting us to do faster, right? And more importantly, like even cheaper, right? Because with VideoExpress, you don't have to pay any fees or like credits and stuff like that, right? To get access. So you're getting it faster, cheaper, so you don't have to hire a video editor anymore. You don't have to basically have a script writer. You don't need a copywriter. You don't need all these external people you needed in the past, right? And I personally haven't used my video editor. We had a video editing team in the past. I haven't used our team in the last, I think, almost 2 months now, since we released VideoExpress 3 internally and doing all these other tests, because it's much easier for me to just prompt AI to write the script for me and edit a little bit here and there than to have somebody else do it because maybe they're sleeping when I want to work, right? Or I want to work in the weekends and they're off on weekends. And the other aspect of it also comes down to if I'm trying to orchestrate the stuff, right? I want to make sure that I have full control over the process, and then I can fix the stuff that is going wrong, and then I can even automate it beyond that, right? That's what AI is doing right now. And you are more like the, if you will, manager or project manager in this case. You can still bring human element, but understand that the value you provide is the orchestration part. Okay. So anyway, like almost running an orchestra, right? So once we understand this, now you get the point, right? So if I'm doing a short form content, what do I do? So let's say if this is the short form content, it's a vertical video, right? That's what I'm trying to do, short form. Like let's say it's a 1 minute or less, right? Short form, I've tested it. When we did short form more than 1 minute, even though platforms allow, it doesn't get any views, okay, just because of attention spans of people, right? Let's say it's 1 minute, right? First 3 seconds matters, okay? First 3 seconds. We gotta hook people in, right? We gotta hook people in that first 3 seconds. Sounds pretty daunting, but it's not as daunting if you have a workflow like this, because then what you can do is hook them into the topic you have and then move on to the next stuff, right? And understand that in a 1 minute video, the logic is very different from, let's say, a longer form video. And the longer form video, you're focused more on education elements, okay? Understand this, please. Very important, okay? If you don't understand this, you can be sitting and you can be creating thousands of videos, but you ain't gonna get any results, right? So education is what I would do long form, okay? Always more than 1 minute and stuff. Here, it's always entertainment. Okay, don't try to mix both. Okay, if you try to do education in 1 minute, how will people get educated on anything in a minute, right? Or even 40 seconds or something. So if you understand who you're trying to do, then you can use AI for that purpose. So for example, if it's education I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to do like weight loss related, right? Like, say, let's say we're trying to do something for productivity, or let's say we're trying to do something for instance, for people. You're trying to teach on something you're good at, like accounting and tax tips, right? So for example, right, instead of here, I will say, in this particular case, an accountant is working with their small business client and explaining to them the benefits of 1031 exchange in the US for saving taxes when buying and selling real estate properties. Create an explainer style conversational video, let's say, right? And then it's going to give me the ideas and I can leverage this, right? And as I told you, right, there's 3 components here: fear of missing out, FOMO. The other one is novelty, like nostalgia, that kind of stuff, right? Past. And the third thing is greed, right? They're saving more money or whatever, right? So we can say focus on the greed aspect of human mentality, right? Of saving more money on taxes or something, right? And then you do. So now you see it's going to still generate me the portrait, actor 1, actor 2, speaking style and all that. But now you see I'm trying to do educational style, right? You see this, right? The accountant is saying, I made money on the property, but the taxes are brutal. The person tells them in the prompt here, and the accountant says, that's why wealthy investors use 1031 exchanges. So 1031 exchanges for people who are not clear on this, I'll explain to you. So 1031 exchange is very simple, okay? For those in the US, probably you already know this stuff, but simply speaking, 1031 exchange works like this. Let's say you have a house, right? Or property, like investment property. It's the worst drawing ever, like whatever, right? So, so then you sell this, let's say investment property, you sell it, and then you buy something else, right? Like, let's say you bought like a building, right? Like, let's say this is the building. With a bunch of floors and then windows or whatever. Let's say you sold this for $100,000 and you bought it for $50,000. So your capital gain was $50,000. If you bought this thing and let's say this was also for $100,000, you don't pay any capital gain taxes on it, provided you follow certain steps, right? You got to buy within a certain time period or whatever. That's the basic idea of it in a nutshell. But so we're trying to create an educational video here on that topic, right? If you see carefully here. So now I'll use this educational format and use AI for it. And I can also mix and match certain elements where I can add some titles and descriptions and stuff in VideoExpress. You understand? So you're just not relying on AI fully, but we add our own little edge to it so that we don't have to like always come up with it. So the idea is, what's the goal? Okay. If my goal is trying to get sales or leads or generate revenue for my business, or if my goal is to use AI to, for example, provide services as an agency or as a as a consultant for other business, whatever your goal is, that's how your prompting structure will be. Okay. And that's what I want to focus on as time goes on, because see, the workflows that I'm going to do, I want to target it based on these buckets, which I'm trying to explain to you, of where you need to find the goal on. If the goal will be, let's say, to do education, we're going to have a workflow on education. If the goal is entertainment, the goal will be, the workflow will be on entertainment, specifically shorts, for example. That's the only way we can separate ourselves now. If you ever try to think, oh, create me an entertaining video and AI will just do like some people dancing, what's the benefit? You're trying to help an accountant get more leads, let's say, or you're an accountant, you want to get more leads for your business, right? To get clients or whatever. Then you have no interest in a bunch of people dancing, right? Or jumping up and down or whatever, right? Or our car crash is coming and then a kitten got saved in the last minute. What's the benefit? Gets millions of views, but there's no benefit. You see what I'm saying? So goal. What's the goal? Okay. If you get the goal, then we can focus on the structure. Okay. So are we trying to just get a bunch of views for monetization or whatever? Or are we trying to get a bunch of leads or whatever? Or are we trying to, for example, get our feet wet in understanding AI and some of these components? You have to make that call. And once you do that, things become a lot more simpler for you to play with, okay? Work around it, so to speak, if I want to be clear on that, okay? So that's the goal. And me, Sid, and Ali, and Yash in our team, we're going to be creating more of these workflows here for that target audience and for that goal. Then you'll understand, okay, what does viral mean? What is the benefit of viral here? Viral is just a word, right? Like it means that a video got a bunch of views. I could go create a viral video that gets 1 million views, where it's a 8-second clip where, like a big train is coming in and a kitten is there, and then somebody saves the kitten in the last, it's going to get millions of views, but it's no value. Okay. What happens is, let's even say, for example, we come back here and we're trying to get, let's say we're creating content where, you're going to have sponsorships, right? Sponsors, right? Sponsors, right? Right. Let's say, and that's an accounting firm wanting to pay you money for your content, let's say. Why would they pay if it's a kitten being saved? There's no value, right? They'll want to go for content that is more educational in nature, talking about certain topics. And then here you see, let's say I can be the accountant here, right? So what I can do now, as an example, I can come back here, right? Actor 1 is Paul, let's say family accountant, the accountant who is 35 years old and is is looking to consult actor 2, who is maybe a seasoned real estate investor. Let's just put Melissa here, who is 60 years old, right? Let's say we're trying to do this, we can always do that. So then I can create a consistent character image with myself in it. Watch this, okay? I'll show you. So close-up shot, right? And then this is the thing, right? 34-year-old. And then I can go back to VideoExpress. Let's do that now, right? Let's go and create now. And then I'll pick my own image, right? So consistent character. And then I can even remove this, it's fine. Enhance my prompt. But if I go to images, all right. So you can pick any images here. You can browse your own images, for example, whatever. It doesn't really matter, honestly, right? You see all these images here we have to use for consistent character. But if it's you as well, you can pick it, or you can pick another person as well. But if it was me, right, I can pick my own photo. Like I can browse here, right? Browse from here or something like that. You get the point? So like, for example, like, let me show you here, right? So I can go in here to my own image that I can upload, or I can create my own face here. Let's say, so this is, see, this could be actor 2, right? This is Melissa, 60 years old. That's it. I can use her, for example, or her, doesn't matter. So this could be actor 2, for example, right? You get the point. So it can be anybody here that you can decide, right? So if I want to upload it from my own computer, I can do that too. So for example, in that case, if it's your own image, I can even create a folder, right? Paul, let's say consistent character. Let's say this is the folder. I can come here and you see that says upload file. Now here I can add files. You see? So I can come here and then I can go into my screen here real quick. And then I can go in and I can add my own photos and stuff of my own here, you know? I can add my own portraits and stuff like that that I want to add in. And so that becomes me. You understand? So here I uploaded a photo of mine. Let's say, for example, not the most, best photo of mine, but let's just show you, okay? So come back here. Since it's uploaded in the consistent character thing, I can come back here, create from prompt, do this, see this reference photo, right? And then I can go into Paul consistent character and then do this, right? And then this is the photo, let's say. And then I can just go in and I can do that same prompt that we got generated, right? So if I go back here, let me show you. Yeah, you see this right here, right? And then come back here. So meaning I'm copying and pasting this prompt that will be my consistent character, correct? So then I generate it with my face and my likeness as an example, okay? So let's do that right now. I click paste. And so now click on create. I can even remove the enhance because I told you, right? And then it's going to generate like you, for example. And also, by the way, if you want to just use this exact image, not get AI to generate anything, meaning you want this this person right here who's uploaded. See this right here? If that's the issue, it's not exactly like you because the prompt, right, messed it up. So what you can do is just use this use from library button, okay? So you see this? This is why we did this, exactly this, right? So that you don't mess it up like this. So you can then use, in this particular case, same thing, and then watch this, okay? Pretty cool. So you come here, choose. So what happens is then basically it'll use this exact image as is. Or alternatively, okay, if you use a consistent character, you can even say, okay, one sec here. Yeah, you can even say right here, right? The man is wearing a blue pinstripe suit, right? And then I do this human, okay? And then I say close up. Portrait of the man. See, the AI, this is the problem, right? When AI will imagine certain things sometimes. Okay, that's why we want to, for the consistent character in particular, we want to make sure it's perfect. It looks like us, right? Human, right? Automatically enhance, right? Use consistent character and create generate image. Okay, so you do that. And then if you're not, if the image quality is bad, what I would suggest is find the image that is the best quality. Okay, so for example, I have images right here, which are like I generated, which are pretty high quality. So I'll pull those up. I'll show you. And then you can use that as your, basically your styling, right? So, okay, let's see here. See this? See, it's kind of like me, but it's like not that because the quality of the image was bad. So now we can go back. Let me upload a higher quality image of mine. Let's do that. Come here. Let's go here, boom, boom, boom. And then you can go in here and then upload this image. There we go, cool. All right. So then once you do that image here, you upload, right? This is more of a close-up shot. See, this is my face. This one is like a little bit AI generated version of me. So then you can pick this one, okay? So then you can get a better shot. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the beauty of what we want to do. So this is what I was trying to say. If any mistakes occur, I want to show you where AI makes the mistake. So then what you would basically do is you can even go back and edit it, okay? So for example, what I would do, come back here. So this thing was the GP, right? So here, this was the close-up shot, right? So you say it's a light olive skin and everything. Not the right approach, right? So what you can come back here is you can even come back and you can add files and you can tell it, right? Let me show you. So this is my photo, right? I can tell it, describe this image as a text prompt, right? And you can do that. So this is another way you could get ideally the exact system, right? That's what we do it, right? So you see this? You see this natural man, it went more detailed here, you see? So now if you, I'll show you how it will work, right? Come back here, VideoExpress, I can pick this, right? And then go back to my consistent character, boom, select, boom, paste. And then you can even remove the enhance prompt, it's fine, create, right? So now you see what I'm talking about. This is the reason why when you automate the whole thing and then you do like 60 seconds of it, which is generated multiple scenes, you're gonna have AI hallucinate. You see, it makes me look a lot more like me, right? See this, a lot more. Now I can save this as the consistent character and I can generate it. Also, see, watch this, what happens now, right? And now that I have this, right? So we'll say, okay, in all the scenes, make sure actor one has these facial attributes, right? And then we'll copy paste this actor one close up. You see, this is the reason why I say all the time, it's important for us not to automate the whole thing with AI, really, right? So you see this. Now, when I go back to the images, see actor one changed it a little bit, right? You see this? Go back, copy, and then you come back here. And then I can use this as the consistent character, or even this as a consistent character. It doesn't really matter. You can use either or. And then you can generate the scene, right? So I pasted this. Let's just generate. And it's going to show us that accounting setup that we were discussing, right? The consistent character setup. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you see this right here. And sometimes it looks a little bit different slightly, or sometimes the same. In that case, you go back, you can do this, okay? Delete this reference photo, come back here, and my AI images, you see this photo of mine, I'll use this as a consistent character. And it'll give it a lot more, because what AI did behind the scenes in VideoExpress is it effectively basically simplified the whole thing behind the scenes. It detected the face and kept the note of it and all that. And you can even simplify this, right? The man is whatever, and you can make actions happen as well, okay? So this is the other thing, all right? So if we go back into the setup, you see here, right? And then actor two, same thing, right? If you remember, actor two description, we had that here is that person that we wanted to do, right? Close up portrait, 60-year-old, right? You can generate that from the application itself, right? With AI generated stuff, okay? See this? As you're working on things, you can tweak it and you can play around with it, you see? And you can play around with different elements here like so. So you get somebody to look closer to you effectively. So now let's just click on actor two. This is the close-up shot of the actor. Let's remove consistent character. Let's remove this and then click create. Boom. Okay. Now, the cool thing is if any of these photos are not cool, I'm not happy with them. Okay. If I'm not happy with them, it just use from library. So I'll save her for now. Yeah. As a character. Now I can come back here, use from library. I can come back here. My AI images, this is my photo, right? I choose this. So then what I can do is I can make this image, you see, that came in here as a video prompt. You understand? So it goes a zoom in shot, right? So then I can come in here and I can turn this as a video prompt as well. Do you see what I'm saying? It'll use whatever image you uploaded as is. Like it will not try to generate another image like this. So in many cases, right, we have our own photos that are pretty good. We have our own photos that we want to use that AI, we want to convert it into a video, let's say, we can add that in. Okay. So similarly, for example, if I come back here, I'll show you, right? Let me actually pull that up here so you can see it in real terms and then come back here, right? So if we come back to media library, Paul consistent character, come back here, add. I'll show you, this is my library of stuff where I've I had all my photos in here, right? Let's say this is you. You took it with your phone, right? So let's just say this is you. Right? These are all my photos, right? Of me standing, the hoodie, blah, 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 right? And the staircase and stuff like that. So let's hypothetically say, this is all vertical because I shot it with my phone. So let's say hypothetically, this is the one, right? Is the photo. So if it's vertical, try to do vertical. Otherwise, shoot it with the phone. See here, you see this? When you upload it, this is what I was trying to say. AI makes a mess of these things. So you see how it flipped it? So we want to make sure that we give it photos that are not flipped like that. Obviously, right? The face is not going to be detected effectively. So let's see here. Right here. There we go. Yeah. So if that is the case, you come back to that folder, right? And then you want to make sure that it's not, you can rotate that, right? Like you can rotate that a little bit and you see this right here. Okay, perfect. It's right here. And then let's see this right here. Okay, cool. All right. So now we can select any one of these. Okay. This is a preview, right? So we can select any one of these, come back here, and then we can say here and use from library, right? And then let's do that. It can be anything. Let's try this. This more close-up shot. Yeah, this one. And then we can say one of the prompts here, right? Like let's say we go back here to the prompt section, and it says here, right? Stable, medium, close-up shot, actor one. He says this, right? Melissa, you're losing too much money in taxes or whatever, right? That's what the thing is. So we come back here, we paste this, okay? And then we go to advanced mode. I always want to turn on advanced mode when the prompt is automatically done, all right? So then we come back here and then we create video directly. So what I did here in a nutshell is I used library, my exact photo as is, the photo got shown here. Then I imported, I pasted the prompt that ChatGPT or the custom workflow did. Then I turned on the advanced mode here, okay? So the idea is that why I did the advanced mode here is basically because I want to make sure that it adheres to the prompt, meaning it listens to what I tell you. It doesn't do any kind of fancy additional stuff in a nutshell, okay? And then we come in here and then I click on create video, you see? So what's going to do, I'll wait for this thing to be done. But in a nutshell, what it's doing is it's going to make this gentleman here, this image as is. So imagine if you have Artistly, right? And you want to bring your Artistly images as is. You don't want the AI to do this other step. We have that option right here, okay? As is. You can make this person talk, do actions or whatever, right? Basically. So that's why we did these elements here, okay? So you see how I'm trying to teach you now in the way where, you know, the idea is this human element of creativity is becoming a lot more important, right? So what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And all that kind of good stuff. All right. So I see some questions that are coming in and I know what those questions are. I've been reading up. So I want to kind of explain to you a little bit on that front, okay? Because it's important we understand the logic behind what we're doing, right? Otherwise, it's kind of like pointless. So while this video is being created, it's going to take about a minute, minute and a half, depending on, the video. But anyway, so you see here what I did. This was a landscape video that I tried, but I put a portrait shot. So I want to make sure I put vertical, okay? Just to understand that because some mistakes like these happen all the time, okay? So click on this vertical because the aspect ratio, like this is a vertical image, right? So to get better results with vertical. So I'll show you as that as well, okay? So you understand. So advanced mode on, create video. The other video got created, I'll show you where mistakes like this you got to be careful about, okay? You'll see the quality difference between the vertical one and horizontal because the original image was, the original image was a vertical image, okay? Now, you can also, by the way, you can convert this into a horizontal image, obviously, right? With the out painting and stuff. So that, by the way, we do have here. See, I'll show you. You see, this is an out painting thing. We can upload an image and outpaint it, or alternatively, you can come back here and you see where it says Smart Edit. You see this? In Smart Edit, you can come in here and you can basically put a vertical image and then you can add elements to it as well. So it's up to you. You can decide which one makes more sense, outpainting or Smart Edit. So you can come here, for example, and like you put the reference photo and then we come back to here and then let's say this is the image. Let's say, right? And then you can say, you put landscape, keep everything this into a landscape photo, let's say, right? And you can do that. So we have the editing framework and I put the automatic enhance prompt, right? So now you can turn that vertical image, keeping everything the same and turn it into a, like a horizontal image as well, if that's something you want. So we've thought through that. That's why the Smart Edit is there. You see this? I've turned this into a thing by keeping the consistency intact, you see? So I'll just come in and I'll save this now. You see that save icon there? And then I can use this now because what it did is it kind of stretched it, right? If I like this one, I'll save this one as well. Up to you, whatever you like, right? And so now watch, let's see here. Let's see these examples here, what's happening, because there will be some issues, obviously. See that? And then the other one, see the horizontal one, because the vertical video came in, it was a mess, right? And you see how the video also kind of picked up the accent based on the person. So you can come in here and you can actually direct it with the accent as well, okay? Especially more important, more valuable when it comes to narration and stuff. So when you want to pick the accent to be clear, what you would do, okay, I'll show you these two steps you can do. One thing is you can do narration mode where you can come in, create video, and then here you can upload your own audio or use any of the clone voice audios. This will be your voice. Okay, first of all. So my clone voice, so you see here, Paul Realistic, I can use my voice and I can generate it right here. To ensure it's my voice and it's a narration style video, and then it'll be something like this. I'm educating. Paul and Melissa are discussing, blah, 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 right? You can do the narration style video. The other one is here, right? Like, let me show you, okay? You'll see what I'm talking about, okay? Come back to the ChatGPT system, and we can say here, right? This is the prompt, right? This is the prompt for the video. You can say instruction, change the, like we can say, describe the accent of the person, which is Canadian neutral English accent, right? And you can change it as well, by the way, okay? I'll show you what that voice changer feature we have, which will sound like you, exactly like you, okay? I'll show you. So describe the accent, just because the accent is more important, then we can change the voice, right? So describe the accent of the person, which is Canadian neutral English accent in the prompt itself, right? So now what it's going to do is basically, see, it's going to change the accent, like, of the person, right? You see this? Calm Canadian neutral English accent. You see this? So now we can come back here, same logic, what I did, okay? And you come back here, and then you come back here, boom, 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 right? And you see, I'll make it vertical just for the sake of argument, because it's a vertical image. And then now you see here, it says Canadian neutral English accent, Melissa, blah, blah, blah. I can remove the narration if I want to, put advanced mode, and then boom, I generate. Now, watch this carefully, okay? Once this is generated, you can go back to, and we have tutorials on this, by the way, obviously, but you can go to the tutorials page here. In this tutorial page on the top, you'll see that. But what you could do is you can come back here on this video, right? Let's say this is the video, right? As an example, I'm just going to show you an example video. This is the video, all right, of something, whatever. And what you can do is you can right click, okay, and you can go to voice changer, and you see it says choose sample audio. Here you can upload your own voice, if you're recording a voice or in clone voice or whatever. And then here you can basically give your exact voice as the sample voice. So it'll change that voice. As long as the accent is the same, it'll change the voice to sound exactly like you. Okay, I'll show you that right now when this other video is done. And in the meantime, I'll pick up my clone voice audio, right? So in clone voice, if you guys and gals use it, let's use that. So let's go to clone voice application. So you can come in here and you can pick any voice of yours, and you can use that as a sample voice, right? You can even record it, by the way, in that particular case within the application to do so. So if you come to import media, and you see right here, voice recorder, then come here, watch this, okay? You can record it. So you see audio, and then you can record. Watch this. Allow. Hey there, let's start. This is Paul, and this is how I generally speak. And this is an example of how I sound like for cloning and changing my voice as I'm speaking. Okay, you got the point? So now what we can do, right click, voice changer, where it says, first let me actually delete this because I'm going to do that other one where the accent is the same. So we go back to media library, and then we go into whole consisting, oh, well, one second. We go into the my videos, right? So let's go to my AI video. So the most recent one, which is going to be that Canadian English or whatever, right? So this is the most recent one. And then I'm going to put vertical because this is a vertical video. Actually, this is not it. Let's come back here. Let's come back here. Yeah. So you see this? These are the videos that we have here. So now here, what you could do, if I go back here, landscape. So you can come back here and you can add the video elements here like so. And what I recommend you to do is once that person is doing the action, you come in here, you change the voice like so, choose sample, and you're going to go into anything here, right? Like Paul voice here in the audio, it's going to save in the audio section. Come in here, choose, apply. So what it's going to do, in other words, is now it's going to make it sound like me, right? Effectively. And of course, you can change the accents and those elements and stuff like that across. So you can basically make the video to do what you want it to do. Okay. And similarly, again, if you go back here, I'll show you as well in the media library. I want to show you this other thing as well. Is like, let's say, even if the accent is going to be slightly different, you can come back here. I'll show you. Watch this. So come back here. So let's say this is the video. This guy doesn't look like me. I'll show you why that happened in just a second. Because of the prompting. That's why you gotta know, right? So in this particular case, this is me, right? So like, watch, I'll show you. And the cool thing is, when you make mistakes, you can fix it in VideoExpress. That's the beauty, because you don't have to pay for credits like other platforms, right? So anyway, so come here, choose audio, choose, and then apply. So what it's doing is it's changing the voice to my voice that I just did, like kind of cloning my voice, so to speak, right? And the reason why this is so powerful is because when two people are talking in a scene, it's too fast paced, a cloning mechanism will not work properly, right? So that's why we thought through this thing. So what's this? And here are the two, okay? Right here. Watch this. This is going to be with the accent. Right? That's the accent. Now watch this is going to be, forget about the video for the time being. Watch the accent. There, sounds more like me, right? So now when the person changes, I'll show you the trick. The reason why that happened is precisely because of that create from AI. One of the things you want to do is in the image prompt, right? Even if you do the actual images that you're reading from the library, make sure, right, the aspect ratios are correct. Remember when I did that image right here? Like, let me show you. Smart edit here. Remember, I actually had an image that was more like stretched out. So you want to make sure that you edit it to the landscape or vertical, the format you want. You don't want to upload like a vertical image and say, hey, create me more, because it has to imagine data now, right? It has to imagine the background. It has to imagine all these other elements. It makes a mess of things. So what we want to do is first, we want to stretch that image so that when it gets stretched and you have that image that you saved, like so, right? Like this, as an example, like if you go here, this is a fully squared image, right? I got saved. You use this as the image now, and then come back here, okay? And then you go in here. You can even use this as a library thing if you want to. Let me show you here. Go to my images. This is the one I stretched, yeah? You can even do this, but up to you, doesn't matter. Okay, and here you can say, okay, what the person is talking about, and you can simplify the prompt, right? So for example, let me just give you some example prompt, right? The man says, Melis, in neutral Canadian accent, Melissa, you are losing too much money on Texas, right? Right? And then you'll say put quotes or something. Here, again, you can use the advanced mode if you want to. And you can even automatically enhance your prompt if you want to. Up to you. So you can do both. Let me show you. I'll show you both results. All right, with and without. Right? And by the way, you can even go to LipSync video, which you simplified from here. So actor 1 is the man wearing the blue shirt. Let's say this is for your simplification, right? And then actor 1 says, right? What is he saying? Melissa, you are losing too much money in Texas, right? And then create. So this is another option for lip sync of that person, right? That we did. So in other words, just to summarize it, right? We discussed so many things. Always ensure when you're uploading your own photo to avoid cases like this, where the person changes, the aspect ratio of the image is correct. How do you make the aspect ratio correct? We have a feature right here, which is called Smart Edit, like this one, where you can remove the background and add a new background. Let's say there's too many people in the background, you remove the background and you only put a solid background so the thing can understand better, AI can understand better, stuff like that. So Smart Edit, we do that and we extend the image from vertical to landscape or landscape to vertical. So let's say, for example, I do this other step, right? So let's say this is the image, right? And I say, make this into 9:16 vertical image, keep everything the same, right? So now you see it says landscape. I'm going to put vertical on the top. You see vertical is selected, and then I'm going to click on create image. right? So now what it's going to do is it's going to make a vertical version, keeping everything the same, the facial features and everything. So if I was doing vertical image and my image is not aspect ratio, just some weird thing that the iPhone or the phone did or whatever, it will create that data. You see this? Did a little bit more, added the hands and other elements here, you see? Which is good. I want that data. So you can save this and now turn this into a video, right? Obviously this image effectively. So let me show you these two. You'll see what I'm talking about, right? Watch this. Right? So now if I put this clip, right? Right? You see this? See, this is why I teach mistakes we make as well. It's very important. Otherwise, like let's do voice changer, choose audio, and then I go to audio tab. You see this audio tab here? This is what I'm doing. You go to the audio tab, click on it, click on Paul voice, the one I recorded, remember? And then choose apply. Watch what happens now. Okay, so people are saying they can't hear. Let me share one more time and show you the audio. Let me see here. All right, let me share my screen one more time with the audio. Let me actually save it and play it as well, okay? Just so you can see it. All right, cool. Okay, let's play this. Let me know if you can hear this, okay? Melissa, you are losing too much money on taxes. Can you hear that? Let me know. So that's how we kind of change the audio, okay, to sound like us. If you want, I'll play this as well, this particular clip, so you can see it. And of course, you can export all these elements and you can do it as well, right? But you get the point, right? So what was it playing here so far? Watch this, right? It didn't even look like me, this guy, right? This guy right here. What is this? We're losing.
Melissa, you're losing too much money to taxes.
So this is AI generated. This is once I change the audio, the voice. Melissa, you are losing too much money on taxes. Let me play that one more time so you can see it. Melissa, you are losing too much money on taxes. You see that? Right? So this is the basic idea here. So we talked through all this edge cases, what we like to say, so that you don't have to worry about all this stuff. You can continue it. And this is the thing I want to mention here when you're talking about AI and sequencing and stuff like that. Watch this, okay? So if we go back into the script that ChatGPT generated us, it's like a guideline, right, of what we're trying to achieve. So I want to show you as well what the speech is, right? So let's say, for example, let me show you here. Actor one, a shot, actor two, and actor one are talking about things, and then stable waist up shot of the man, blah, 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 whatever. A 1031 exchange, let's delay taxes and keep money invested, let's say. So what you could do is to simplify this. That's why we did that whole thing, right? So let's say, for example, the two people are talking, right, in that one sequence. So what we can do is we can go into the smart edit again, and I'll show you how you can create two of them in the same sequence. All right, pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. Okay, watch. So we can go to images. Okay. So let's say this is the image one. And let's say images two image, right? This is the client, right? I'm the accountant. This is the client. Okay. So now what we can say here, I'm going to keep the enhanced prompt alive. So the man and the woman are having a conversation in a conference room. Hey, that's it. Okay. Let's create. So what you can do is you can even give the exact image. Now, in this case, it's a landscape image, let's say. You can give that exact image element here. You can see here, wider landscape view, same man, same woman, blah, blah, blah. And then you can have that conversation image and you can use the image as is as well. So we add that flexibility. You want to keep both of them as well. This is useful in certain cases where you want that granular detail. And again, the idea is like, you can now use this as an example. Okay, we can save this and use this. Or alternatively, what I would suggest is you come back here, you do consistent character, reference image, All right. And then you come back here and then you pick image here and then image 2. And that's what we're doing with AI basically, right? Effectively. And then you can generate the system, the prompt, right? So like you can come back here, as you can see here, and then we can use one of these image prompts, right? Where like we see where both of them are in one scene. Yeah, here, realistic image screen, waist up framing across, blah, 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 right? And let's do this and then go paste. Okay. And if you want, you can even do the enhanced prompt if you want to. Let's test with both. Okay. Well, it doesn't hurt us, right? Because we're not getting charged with credits with VideoExpress anyway, so it doesn't hurt to experiment. So here, what is happening is it will enhance the prompt and it will generate the image. You see where it updated the prompt here? Cinematic film shot, the man, blah, 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 the woman, blah, 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 right? And it generates it. And it just helps it a little bit more better in that case. If you don't want to, you can try it as well without the enhanced prompt like so and create image. Okay, I'll show you both. Okay, see this right here, and then you can see here. Okay, you get the choice of both. Just make sure that the consistent character is a portrait all the time, because the more close up it is, the more it will keep. So even more than this image, I'll always recommend, I'll show you, always pick this type of image. Let me preview this. See how close up it is? Like I can see the facial expression. So like almost a waist up shot. When you do this, you get a lot better results than when you basically do it any other way. Okay. Because it's taking the facial features I gave it. Okay. So you can just, create the image here. And then again, you can enhance it if you want. Okay. Up to you. And play around with it to get the outcome you want. This is why you have to understand, like with consistent character, if you use certain ethnicities and races and stuff like that, it's much better, the quality of the image, obviously, because AI was trained on that. But in some cases, it's not. You get the point, right? So like here, this is a little bit more like me, this not so much, right? So that's why we give 2 variation elements, right? Like this one, for example, right? More like me, this example right here, more like me. So we come back here. And now what we can do here, if you come back, you see, there is the prompt, right? What are they speaking and stuff? So what you can do here, you see the speech here, where 1031 exchange, capital gains taxes, whatever. You can just take this one element too if you want to, or use everything, up to you. Okay, you have that flexibility. Okay, so you can come here, copy this whole thing if you want, as is. Just make sure the advanced mode is on. Okay, paste this. Make sure that the advanced mode, you see this mode is on, which will automatically adjust the length of the video and stuff. And then you create the video and boom, it's going to start doing it. Okay. So it will keep the consistency intact and all that. And it'll be this person speaking kind of thing. And you can even do it easier if you want, like quick lip sync again. You see here, it says actor 1 is this, actor 2 is this. So you can say actor 1 is the person, the man, wearing the blue shirt, let's say. And then we can say here, actor 1 says, which is the script, right? A 1031 exchange instead, let's say. Let's say this is the easier way to do it as well, right? You can create as well. So that means the person will speak, okay? You get the point, right? So you can basically effectively do these levels of automation with these GPTs. Okay, now, while this is getting generated, I want to talk about the third automation I've done for you. Okay, pretty cool. So one of the things that we've been talking about a lot is controllability, right? So if you see here in this particular case, this guy is reading something. I don't want him to read. Like he just made up, right? AI just thought, okay, it's reading something and made up this thing. So how you would do this is you can do the first frame, last frame feature to kind of trick the AI to be able to get you the outcome. Okay. So in a nutshell, like, let me show you how this will work. Okay. And while this is the case, let me show you also the videos that got generated. You see this, right? This is the video. And again, I can change the voice. I'll show you in just a sec.
A 1031 exchange lets you delay capital gains taxes and keep more money invested.
Right. So then you can come in here and then you can change the audio and the voice as is. Okay. You get the point, right? So just understand, like, this is the trick. The more zoomed in your shot, remember I told you, the more likely it is it'll look more like you. Okay. Just keep that in mind. All right. Now, one thing I want to show you here real quick. Let's go here, new. I'll show you new project. Now, Yeah, I created a new format, which is like, if you see here, first frame, last frame, we talked about it last time. And some of you folks were asking us for the ability to also, put the frames in that you wanted to do. We are working on it. Beta testers are testing it right now. So once we are, in the coming weeks, once we are comfortable enough where they're getting good results with it, we're going to release that feature as well, where you can give your own references. But for now, you're still in the testing phase for that. So what you can do here, and very simple, okay? The first frame is, let's say, for example, you want that controllability because the consistency is changing there, right? In the characters. So you can give this right here, okay? The first frame is this, let's say, of this gentleman here. And so what I did is I created a GPT that will systemize this, which I'm going to add into the workflows as well after this webinar is done. So what you can do here is in the first frame, you can say, close-up shot of the man, let's say, making coffee in a coffee shop, let's say, right? And then this is the first frame. And this is the first frame where you can do it. And this what you said here, right? For best quality results and prompt engineers, you want to do 9:16 because it's in beta. Remember, if you see here, the feature here it says it's beta, right? That's why we put that in there, because still to be tested, right? We're still fine tuning certain things and some things on this based on your feedback. So let us know in our support team. Okay, so let me show you this. It's pretty cool. So now I'm doing this, right? This is the first frame, let's say. And then the second frame, what you could do is the man is, let's say, pouring coffee into a coffee mug, right? So let's say that is the frame, right? We create last frame now. So the idea here, in a nutshell, just so you understand, is that we can force. You see that one image is just like if I put like money, right? It just makes up where that person is holding money like this, right? And you want him to hold, let's say, a $5 bill. Let's say this is a $5 bill, right? And the person holds a $50 bill. Not what you want. And that's what AI makes up. You say they're holding a dollar bill, it just makes up some stuff, right? So you see this now on the screen. So this is how we get the outcome you want. 1 and then 2. See? Especially for consistent character and certain things, you always get it. So now we can say the video prompt, and I've automated this. I'll tell you this, because that's what I'm trying to explain. So I'm telling you manually, then I'll show you how I automated this. So you can say the man is using the coffee machine and pouring coffee into the coffee mug, right? And then create. And then this is landscape. You can even do portrait, the same thing, by the way. Okay, so let's say first image, because the prompts are already set, right? I'll show you how it works. So when it's circling like this, what it's doing is behind the scenes, we're doing our magic to make sure the consistency is there, the scene is similar, and the sequencing is correct and all that. Yeah, and then let's do this. So this way you always force the outcome. That's the goal out of this first frame, last frame. It's not exactly to do extending of a clip. The reason why I want to explain that as well is that one of the mistakes people make, and I've seen it personally as well, and I've tested it myself thousands of times over. And the mistake is that you're trying to extend a clip, it starts making up stuff. And that's even with the best of the best stuff like Seed Dance 2 and some of these things, where you say the dragon, breathes fire. And you see this? This is exactly why. You see this? It's generating multiple hands. So this is the reason why. What we do, okay, we come back here in the bottom and we regenerate the stuff. Okay, create last frame again. So that's the beauty of VideoExpress. If there's so many weird things happening like this, you can just regenerate. Anyway, so if the dragon is blowing fire and then it flies up and then it lands on, and then you're trying to extend that again and again, it kind of makes up stuff in the process. It might change the dragon, it might change the fire, the way it blows the fire, and all these sequencing. So always treat everything as a scene by scene basis. It's going to give you better. See, there we go. This is much better now. So now you see this. Now we can generate the video. Let me show you. So while this is being created, what I've done is I've created a GPT. I'm going to put that in the workflow right after this live stream is done. In this page, you see this page right here. I'll be putting it up right now. I just didn't want to do it beforehand because I want to give you some time to play around with it and also give me feedback because I'm going to improve it and simplify it. So meaning what you see right now will not be what it's going to be a week from now because I'm going to keep taking your feedback in the comment section and improve this. Okay. On that page is when I'm going to put it. Give me about like 15 minutes after this is done because I want to first show you. And it's also going to be in the GPT store so you can search it for both Gemini and Google as well. Okay. So anyway, this is the GPT. So I created it. It's called the first frame, last frame video generation workflow. And you can use any model, really doesn't really matter, honestly. So the idea here is this, okay? You can come in and you can say a specific thing, right? Okay, let's say, for example, 35-year-old man is pouring coffee in a I'll show you some other examples by the coffee shop, okay? And then let's say this is the idea, okay, just general. So what it's going to do is obviously it can generate the images here, but it can also do some other cool things, which I'll show you right now. Even the Gemini thing, that's why I didn't give it because I want to show you some mistakes it will make. In this particular case, it's stretching the image and is making it, so which we don't want to do, right? And in the Gemini thing, I created it as well. You'll see it in the Gemini gem. Let me pull that up here. So in that case, same logic, whether it's GPT or Gemini, it will create the prompt for the first frame, prompt for the second frame, and the video prompt as well. So meaning if we come back here, okay, it's going to generate the prompt for first frame, generate the prompt for the second frame, and it's going to also do this prompt for this thing here. So that way you get the whole output like this. I'll show you that in just a sec, what I did, okay? Because I want to get your feedback on how to improve it. Okay, watch this. Yeah, there you see, it kind of messed up the cup, you see? So that's why you want to play around with it and get the outcome you want. There we go. This is much better. There we go. See? In cases like this, folks, okay, where it does this stuff, we did something really cool. I'll show you. It's a good thing it did this live. Okay, it messed up this, right? So we have something called right click, fix video. It says fix quality, fix physics. So fix physics means like, it just made up some stuff. We can do that. So fix physics, repair and enhance, we'll do that. Physics is like if it makes up some stuff, right? So it's this type of video cannot be repaired, it says, you see? So in normal terms, we do that. You can even redesign this. I'll show you, okay? And then in here, it goes back to the create from video prompt. And now that you have this, what we can do, okay, I'll show you this. Is really, really cool, by the way. So the man is using a coffee machine, pouring coffee into a coffee mug, right? Like normally here, we have a manual lens. Let me even remove the manual lens. Let's put it. And here, I'll show you something really cool here. So in cases like this, when it's doing it, you can come back. We're going to add that into the first frame, last frame as well. Make a note of it. It was supposed to be live, but maybe it's going to be there tomorrow. But anyway, for a normal video, we're going to do the same thing with the first frame, last frame. After this call, I'm going to get that done after this live stream. Anyway, so what we can do is once this video is done, right? Or even this video, let's say, right? What we can do is we can go to fix video and you can say fix physics or fix quality, right? If the quality is slightly off, you can just click yes, and it'll regenerate that video again with a higher quality. Let's say there's somewhat like 6 fingers showing up for some reason, or like there's like some blurriness or something. You can fix that, basically. That's the idea behind that fix physics, fix thing. Like, let's say the car is moving backwards for some reason. It fixes those kind of scenarios, okay? That's the basic idea here, okay, of these things. Let's come back here, all right? So that's what we're trying to aim to solve for, okay? In this case. So that's another good thing. So while this is generating, I'll show you how it'll do it. It's going to take a little bit longer because what it's doing is it's taking the video and finding all the issues that the video could have and fixing it. So once it's done, I'll show you how that'll look like. But yeah, so that's the basic idea of it though, okay? Watch this. All right, so I have the Gemini gem as well. I'll play this stuff for the same first frame, last frame, right? So I'll show you here. All right, so here, you can do whatever. It doesn't really matter, honestly. So again, the workflow is the first frame, last frame, okay? Generate first and last frames of a man pouring a coffee into a coffee mug, specifically Arabica coffee, right? Let's say you have some specifics. And then you just show this. And then you see this. You can either do the image generation automatically through this workflow or even the script generation as well. So in the case of the script generation, you can just tell it like you can stop it. You can say, generate me the exact prompts. Okay. And then you can it'll give you the exact prompts. Okay. Same thing with the GPT thing as well. That's why I kind of do. See this right here. You can generate the images as well if you want to. That's something you like. Or the other one is just you can tell it, right? And I'm gonna, based on your feedback, once I'll release it, I'll show you. See this? It generates the image 1 prompt, image 2 prompt. I'm gonna slightly make it more simplified. So here, you see this? Image prompt is this. Image 2 prompt is this. So if I kind of show you in a nutshell what we're doing, so I'll just zoom this out here. Open up VideoExpress here. So let's go down here. Okay, first frame, last frame. There, let's snap this thing here. So what I'm basically telling you here in a nutshell, right, in this workflow that you'll be getting access to on that page I showed you earlier, later, because I'm going to fix some issues with it because I'm seeing some feedback on that as well. Because see, when I do it live with you folks, you know, sometimes I see some of these things as well, and, you know, I get feedback as well. Let me know in the comments as well after this live stream is done as well if you see any issues with this workflow, because people's inputs matter here, right? What they put here. So anyway, so this, it goes here, image 1, first frame. Image 2 is this second frame. Okay, this one right here. And then the image to video prompt, you see this third one is here, right? So you put it in a nutshell, okay? Does that make sense? So that's the basic idea of what we're doing. So in a nutshell, what we can do is this, copy, paste, yeah? This is the thing, okay? And you do landscape vertical. We recommend vertical for better quality. But you can also do landscape, basically. But let's say it's vertical. Let's say create first frame, yeah? And it's going to generate as the first frame. And then you can do the copy this thing for the image 2 prompt. And I'm going to set this up neatly in that workflow page. Okay, just watch out for that workflow page 15 minutes after this call is done. Okay, this page right here. I'll set it up because I'm going to test some things here, right here. So there we go. This is 1%. And then here, come back here. Last frame, I'm going to paste the last frame prompt. So meaning this one right here, if I select it. So in simple terms, this right here. Okay, I'll just copy whatever the second frame is showing me. And for those who couldn't see it better, that's the image 2 prompt. Okay, copy this smart last frame. There we go. For that, generate the last frame. And then now we got frame 1, frame 2. And then we're going to basically do the image to video prompt. Okay, so this one right here. And then we're going to basically generate the basic idea of the video of those actions that we want to force. So what with the first frame, last frame, to ensure like there's no, you know, like for example, issues and stuff like that, we ensure that the ambience and its elements are the same, okay, throughout. So anyway, we can just go in here, paste. This is the prompt for the video, quick video. That's the basic idea. So we got these 3. So I'm going to give you this GPT. I'm going to, I also did the Gemini workflow for this. I'll put that up in that page that I showed you earlier. I'm going to give you that as well. Okay. After this. Now, I know there's some questions coming in. One of the questions that came in was, this is a little bit complicated, Paul. Like, you know, I kind of see, you know, the application setup and I'm not that good at it. The way I want you to understand is these GPTs, right, that I'm creating these workflows, and we're going to be creating more of them as time goes on to simplify things. The foundation has to be strong. That's why I teach you these things, okay? Because see, you saw, right, with consistent character, like with my face, sometimes it may not sense it. If you're an African American, may not keep your face properly. If you're, let's say, for example, an Asian American or Asian person, or let's say you're from Polynesia, French Polynesia, and your facial features are a little bit different. And let's say, for example, right? And you're, you know, for example, different age groups and stuff. If you rely 100% on AI, because of how the AI system works, the training data, we like to call it, right? How it was trained on, it will never be 100% accurate. What we want to do is we want to understand why, okay? Why is that the case? Like, why is it not looking like it? If you can understand that, which is what I taught you here, right? That's why we did the use from library example. We used the smart edit example to stretch the vertical to horizontal. These things, if you understand that, then next time around, when you're doing these automations or copy paste stuff, it's a joke, right? A piece of cake for you to do. Does that make sense? So that's the basic idea of all these GPTs that I'm creating for you, okay? Now I can even go further. You can say, now that man, okay, is drinking the coffee. Generate me the prompts, okay? There we go. Okay, now we go back here and let me save the same consistent character, right? Like this gentleman here. So let me just save this frame, this consistent character frame. And then I use consistent character, reference photo. Okay. And then come back here. There we go. Choose. Okay. And then now I go back here and image one prompt, which I selected on the top. Okay. There we go. I just copy this. Right click, paste. See, this is a much better way to extend a scene than it is to do it where you have to kind of prompt it and it's going to look weird, right? So now you generate. You'll see what I did there, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing for the image to prompt in the bottom. So if you understand the logic of what we're trying to do, which is force the outcome, that's why we use the first frame, last frame feature. It will allow you, see this, he's drinking it here, right? And then here again, we're going to paste the last frame one, come back here. And then we do that. All right, so this right here, right? And then come back here, create last frame image. So now what we're doing is that we change the sequencing where it started with him making coffee. And now we're going to change it to basically where he's drinking the coffee, right? And you can create more sequencing this way. And you can continue the story, forced outcomes. And if you don't like any image, you can regenerate that image by changing the prompts and stuff like that. So from point A to point B, you can always force the outcomes. Like he's always sitting on a brown bench. Don't make up a bench to be green, for example. Always stops. Running, stops, and sitting down. And also some other cases would be like in the case of real estate, right? And some other cases like that, you want the house not to be there and be there, right? So we do it that way. So here's the other one. And then now we copy this image to video prompt. So if I bring it into your screen, because I'm locking this is image to video prompt, right? Copy this. And then I come back here and I'm going to paste it here, okay? This one right here, okay? And create video. So now what's happening is that his first step was he was making the coffee. Now he's drinking the coffee and he's enjoying the coffee. And now you can say maybe he's serving the coffee to somebody, whatever. You can continue the story that way, right? And this allows you to have that control, especially for sequences, which sometimes, right, you created the whole scene. Like, for example, right, if we open up here, let me show you this one right here. So let's say this is the cartoon one, right? Yeah. So here, right, this was a cartoon one, remember? Like, let's say, for example, this one right here, I want to make sure that when this gentleman is making the clock, right, it always has a certain, like, if he's crying in a certain way, I want him to cry and then solve his tears with a handkerchief or something, right? Those kind of little details you can do with the first frame, last frame. Does that make sense? That's what we're trying to aim for. It gives you more granular control, right? And you can always continue the story as well using it as I showed you earlier, right? So let's actually pull that up, the stuff that we just generated. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so the first one was this, right? Pouring the coffee again. There we go. And then the second one is him drinking. There we go. Enjoying the coffee, right? So you can continue that, the framework as there. And of course, if you don't like it, you can recreate it, redesign it, whatever, okay? As time goes on. So the beauty here is what we are doing right now is as we get more of you creating it and complaining to us like, this is not good, that's not good, we can fine tune the system. That's why we have the group, right? If you're not part of our Facebook group, this is the group right here. So that, hey, mistakes are okay. It's AI at the end of the day. It's not like magic, right? But as things go on, as we get more of this information, we'll keep improving stuff. Okay. And that's the goal out of these, live streams we do and stuff, where you see the mistakes being done in real time, right? Oftentimes when I'm doing these things, I purposely make sure that I come in with zero prior perfection testing, because if that is the case, then when you're doing it, you won't be able to replicate my stuff, right? And you'll make mistakes as well along the way. So that is the basic idea of why we do what we do. Okay. Now, so this workflow, which is basically what I just showed you right now, which is this, where it will generate the image one prompt, image two prompt, image to video prompt to simplify stuff for you and gives you that outcome you want, and you can edit it this is the one I'm going to put in that workflow page in about 15 minutes after this is done. So watch out for that one. It'll be there. I just wanted to make sure that there were a couple of things I wanted to fix. I want to do it live to learn in this process and then fix it out right after, right? And if you see any other issues in the YouTube comments after this live stream is done, let me know so that I can fix it for you and simplify it. That's what I did here. I simplified it. You know, you just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste now. You don't have to do anything for this short film stuff and all that, right? Like which was the case before. You don't have to do that. Okay. Now, for the first frame, last frame, I want to show you some examples as well. Let me pull that up right here so that you folks can understand it. So let me pull that up here real quick. For the first frame, last frame, this is. And I'll show you some examples and how I go about doing them. Is that cool? So then you'll give you some ideas on how to utilize this stuff, okay? So let me show you. So watch this, okay? So this is the avocado one. All right, you see that, the avocado one there. So how did I do that? So it's very simple, okay? Nothing really fancy here. I'll show you. So what we do is the same logic. So I'll show you here. And let me show you here. Okay, cool. And I'll show you all the examples, okay? So that you can see where I use the first frame, last frame specifically. So this is a chef cutting avocado. So I did the same logic, okay? So image one was the chef cutting the avocado. And then image two here is the chef having that avocado fly, right? So same GPT system, right? If we come back, I'll show you. In this particular case, if I open this up, so this, right? Image one prompt. So image two was this, the chef avocado flies, right? So same thing, right? Chef is cutting whatever, right? A bearded man who is a chef is cutting avocado in kitchen. And in the next frame, the avocado flies in the air, right? And so basically give me the prompt. So I basically will simplify it so that you don't have to do all that, but you see what it did, right? A realistic. So this is basically where sliced avocado is dramatically flying upward in the air. You see this? And then we got the image to be your prompt where image one is the starting frame, image two is there, it slices and the avocado flies. You get the point, right? So this is example one. Then the other example you can utilize for this use case is where it's like in real estate. I really like this example because if you're into real estate or you're trying to create videos for real estate, one of the biggest problems is the before and after shots, right? So let me show you that.
One is before and after transformation of the empty land to a fully constructed luxury house.
There. So in this particular case, if I come back, what I did is the same logic. Home construction, this was the land and this was the house, right? And of course, you can direct it as well and generate the first image as well, obviously, but this was the first image and then this was the second image, correct? So in the GPT, what I would do is basically, I can even upload this image, by the way, if I want to. So I can say, right, let me go back here one sec. So like I can say a time lapse, you know, first and last frame with barren land, and then a house made in the same land, and give me the prompt, right? And then sort of like this, right? Image one, cinematic empty barren land, same white cinematic view, and then you get that, right? So you can use it for that use case as well. And the other one is basically where it's like you can play tricks like this. So I'll show you this one as well. It's pretty cool. I like this one, this example. Actually, you were not able to see that, but let me actually pull up my screen here. There we go. One sec. There we go. Let's pull up the screen. So yeah, you see this, the time lapse first and last frame, barren land of the home here that I have in my screen. I just said a time lapse first frame, last frame, barren land, and then the house, right? So this is how it gave me the scene one, scene two. Then the other one is something like this, okay? I'll just play the video so you can see it. So basically this is the idea, right? So basically here is the first frame. of him holding like a Spider-Man. And then this is one is this, right? So him getting the popcorn in his hands. So same logic, right? So you would say the first frame is a man trying to stretch his hands up. And the second frame is the person is basically having a popcorn in his hands. And you can even, like I said, as we are working on it, we'll be allowing you to upload these images as well into VideoExpress. We're doing some testing on this stuff right now, where one of the problems we're finding is if you see carefully here, everything is the same, right? In the frames. So like the light is the same and everything. Those shots are super amazing to look at. When the background slightly changes, the contrast changes. What it does is basically it does a transition. And the transition sometimes looks odd. So we're trying to figure out how to do it, and we are getting some beta testers to test it. Let us know if you want to be a beta tester as well in our support team, by the way, okay? We're happy to do. We maybe have a spot or two left, I'm not sure. But yeah, they are testing and telling us that, hey, you know, getting this control is important. So we're trying to automate that for you. So once it's done in the next coming weeks, we're going to allow you to upload these like here to get that output, right? This is another example. Another one could be like, you see this one right here. This is a perfect example. So you got the orange juice without the man, right? And you want the person to walk into the frame, sit down and drink the juice, okay? And so, and that man has to be, say, a specific man or woman or whoever that you decide, right? Like this. This is the second frame, right? And then, so watch the video here. You see this? So the idea is that like he comes in, sits down, and then he drops the, you see this, the juice in the bottom and leaves it. And that's how you control it. It's especially useful where you want to control who the man is, what clothing is wearing and all that, because of that control as well. So there's some other ones as well, like this one right here, the baby hugging a teddy bear. So you got the baby, you got the teddy bear. It has to be this baby, it has to be this teddy bear, right? And then you can control the output. There, right? So he's saying you're my favorite toy, basically, in the audio. And then it'll end there, right? So that's the basic idea of the first frame, last frame, where you can have granular control of it. And the GPT I mentioned to you earlier, that simplifies this. I'm going to fine tune it a little bit. So if you do find any issues with this thing, let me know in the YouTube comments or in our support team as well, or both, doesn't matter. I'm going to improve this a little bit further to simplify this further and make it work. So that's the third thing, okay, that I wanted to share with you as well. So 3 things, right? We discussed the cinematic one, we discussed the 3D style one, and we built upon it what we covered last week. And then now we're talking about the first frame, last frame, how to get the outcomes we desire, correct? So those are the 3. And I do know one of the requests was you wanted to upload your own photos, so meaning you wanted to do this right here and this right here. And you wanted to be able to come in here under this and be able to upload your own images right now, so you can only do consistent characters. So we are working on that with our beta testers, so give us some time. In the coming weeks, we're gonna release that once we are comfortable. One of the things, as I mentioned before, is that if we release this feature and like 90% of the people don't know how to prompt it properly or get the right outcome, we are not doing a proper service. We're doing you a disservice, correct? So we want to not have that issue coming in. So we want to tweak everything such that from the get-go, you know, you get the best outcomes, and we can guide you through the process. Behind the scenes, we do all kinds of magic to make it as simple as possible. So that's why we named this beta right now, this feature, because it's still in beta testing mode for us. So that's why you'll notice that as well on the right. Okay. So that said, covered a lot of things. I just want to summarize this right now for those who come in later or whatever, and so to keep it also within that time frame, because I want to make sure this is valuable, and those who came in here and stuff. The main thing I wanted to come do here is that the workflow stuff, make sure that you go into this page and get that done here. And make sure that you go in here by 15 minutes after this is done, so I can put that workflow in there. For that, I'm just going to tweak a couple of things in the meantime, because what happens is, right, when I'm testing internally, it'll work well. When I push it as a GPT for ChatGPT, sometimes it screws up because they have limits on how much you can put in the, you know, and what models to use and some of the things. So I want to make sure it works for some free ChatGPT accounts as well. So I want to test that real quick, and then you'll see that workflow in that page that you see around there. The second thing is that Make sure that you understand the outcome you're trying to achieve in the videos that you're trying to make. So for example, if it's entertainment oriented, try to keep it short, simple. Right? Don't try to complicate it too much. You're not going to be like Mr. Beast, where you're going to create a 10-minute entertaining video with all kinds of jump cuts and stuff like that. It's going to be much harder. So keep shorts if entertainment. And entertainment's only goal should be, in my opinion, to get a whole bunch of views to be monetized as quickly as possible, if that's the goal. If you're, my other suggestion would be to create educational content. Let's say if you're doing educational style, where you're covering a certain topic, for example, in that case, you can go a little bit longer form, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. The idea with that one also is that some manual work is better recommended. And that's why I always tell you with these GPTs to do that manual work as much as possible. And just that 5% matters. Right? You don't want to be a situation where you're one among the millions of AI robots generating a bunch of stuff and you kind of become AI slot, right? So the storytelling and the aspects of it matter. And we'll be covering a lot of that going forward, okay? It's very important you understand the concept, right? Of, emotions and nostalgia, copywriting, some of these things. A few years ago, I was awarded one of the #1 copywriters in the world. So some of the stuff I'm telling you actually comes from that experience, where, I come from that copywriting / sales background, over 10, 20 years of experience. So when I say, these things, it's coming from that standpoint, okay? We want to utilize the skill, and that's the skill I'm putting into the GPTs and the automations and stuff, so that you can, you don't have to be a really big level copywriter or expert, but try to separate yourself from everybody else. And therein comes the one-of-one concept I told you, right? So start thinking as homework, for example, for today. AI is a tool, of course, that can generate all this stuff. How can you apply some of these concepts into your business, right? Like, for example, if I came into this first frame, last frame thing, think of like how many real estate agents, like if I come back here, would love this kind of an approach, right? For the before and after shots, right? Like this is an example. How many people, right? Like this is a viral shot, right? This and this. You can do this right now in the application, obviously. So like this to get this outcome here, right? Like this shot right here, right? Some of these viral components, right? So what you are trying to think about is this could be the hook for the first 5 seconds of the video, first 3 seconds before people leave, right? So these things is how you mix and match things to separate yourself. Like the first frame, last frame, I would use to create that first 3 or 5 seconds video to make something out of the world extraordinary, right? Like for example, like the skydiving thing that I have here, right? So I just have somebody jump in the skydiving as frame 1. Frame 2 is a guy's parachute lands in. Maybe the parachute doesn't work. That's the second image, you see? And so then you create a video like this, right? Where he converts it into like a parachute, like so, right? You see this, like something like this, right? And maybe the parachute cuts off. So you just create like that hook, right? That element. So some of these things is what I'm trying to teach you, so that the fundamentals, if they're good, all the automations will make sense. And even if AI screws up in the automations, you're not spending a ton of money. I'll give you an example, right? People keep talking about and comparing with Seed Dance and some of these platforms out there. And we've used all of them, to be honest, right? So Seed Dance costs you like $4 for a 10-second clip right now. Okay. It's among the best in the world in terms of video creation. Now imagine the consistency of the character is off by a little bit. You're going to still spend that $4 to generate another 10 seconds. What if it's off again, right? Another 4. So to do 10 tries, it's $40 right now. And then if that one 10-second clip is good, now you want to create a minute, you could be looking at paying $200 or more for that one video, 1-minute video, which comes correctly to the way you want it, right? That's the problem right now with AI. With VideoExpress, you don't have to worry about all this stuff, right? You're getting all that stuff automated effectively, and all that stuff is, and you don't have to also worry about credits and all that stuff. You can generate as many videos as you want. You can generate parallel videos as well, right? So while one is being created, you can go to the next one. You see, I have all these videos being completed as I was speaking, right? So you can set up all these things where you copy paste all this stuff from the GPT. They're all going to show up in the My AI videos, and boom, you can just come in and play whatever you like, and it's ready to go like this, right? Which is really, really powerful, as you can imagine. Okay, so that way all the automations can be done while you kind of sleep, because just copy paste. All the videos are being done in the background. You can now either sleep, you can wake up and understand what's happening, but the fundamentals we're going to keep teaching you, okay? It's about understanding why something is doing well as a viral video. Why is something getting that attention? If you understand the logic, so when AI screws up, You don't have to try 10 times, right? You can do one try and you can get the result quickly. Okay. And that's how we're adding these features as well that you see in the application. We're getting your feedback on these things because once you get the foundations right, the questions you ask us and the feature updates you ask us will also be really good, right? You can say, for example, the first frame, last frame, I want to upload my own images, but I want it for this specific case. Okay. This is how I want to do it. So then we can come back and behind the scenes make it more fine-tuned and optimized for that use case, correct? So it's not about like, okay, I gave you one image, one frame, and it's done. It's about like, okay, for real estate, let's do this optimization behind the scenes, right? For the case of like, that skydiving case, we do something else. For the case of lip sync and talking and stuff, something else. So this is why when you come to like create from prompt, you'll see so many checkboxes, right? It can be daunting sometimes. This one, what is this for? Like video only, no sound. What is it? When you don't want any extra background noise or any talking, you only want like a stock footage kind of thing. This is good for it. We did all these checkboxes based on testing we've done and use cases we know it'll work for. Narration video is good for documentary filmmaking, right? Where somebody's narrating something like nature video of birds mating or something like that, right? So that's the basic idea of how we are trying to approach these things. Okay, on a step-by-step basis. Right. Now, homework for you is simple. Okay, just make sure that these features that we're talking about, you're trying to use them from the logic of when you're using these GPTs of what the goal is. Is your goal to sell more products or services or grow your brand or business? In that case, don't waste your time on short form 1-minute videos. To start off with, maybe go a little bit longer, 3 minutes and stuff, which you can create with VideoExpress. And the first 8 seconds or 10 seconds, you can go a little bit interesting and then go with normal flow, right? Which you can still do. You can do narration style video for that. You can lip sync HD, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Consistent character and all that stuff. In the case of, let's say you're trying to create viral videos, then short form only, which is vertical. You see in the top right, I selected this vertical 9:16. You only focus on vertical. Don't waste your time on it. If it's under 1 minute, always vertical, okay? And always under 1 minute. Because the platforms will only help you there and they're not going to help you in any other way. Okay. So then you got that other second aspect of it as well done. Now, the goal here is to understand that it's not about millions of views. It's not about millions of subscribers. I can show you right now millions and millions of channels out there which got demonetized and also got stopped uploading content and stuff. They had millions of subscribers. Why? Because of AI slop. And also because they tried to automate everything where they posted like 1,000 videos in a week, but it had no emotion in it, no logic behind, no goal, like it's just to get a bunch of clicks. If that's the case, you should not be using AI tools at all because that means that you're one of the millions, right? The goal here is, okay, what am I trying to achieve? Am I helping generate more leads, more sales, more traffic, or call to action? If that's the case, the whole video has to be interesting from the step one to the very end, right? And that requires some manual effort. Even the best of the best content right now requires that manual effort. That's why we give you the editor and stuff, okay? And the difference will be those who will do complete automation will be one of the thousands or millions of people, and then they'll come back and complain to us, hey, I tried it, YouTube demonetized me, or this one didn't work and that one didn't work, the platform banned me or something. It's because you're not adding the emotion, the frameworks of hooks, the ability to connect with your audiences, solving a specific problem they have. People have some questions, right? Like let's say if people are trying to lose weight and then they're trying to take some of these new stuff that have come into the market and they're having trouble with some side effects or vision or something, they want to know how to solve it. Or let's say, for example, in the taxes situation for an accountant, or let's say mortgage, right? They want to get a mortgage for their house and then they're struggling to get the right interest rate. How do you get the cheapest interest rate? It's all about solving that problem. Then the video length is not as important. The virality and matters not as important. It's about what will my video have. I'm not as comfortable in front of the camera. Can I create my own AI character? Right? Like in this particular case, if you see here, I created my own AI character, right? Like this guy right here, drinking coffee guy, right? So this guy right here is my character. Now I can use this person as my accountant character and create videos on this. Same thing with a cartoon, right? Like this character is mine now. I can create more and more videos with this character right now, right? You see my point? This character right here with the glasses and everything. So the logic is that once you have that flow, it's super easy after that, okay? So the homework for you will be, what is the goal? Is it for fun? If it's for fun, entertainment, less than 1 minute. Don't even waste your time on other stuff, okay? Because if your job is to make sure that it's about views and stuff, just do that. If your job is, hey, I want to sell a product, so even if you want to sell VideoExpress as an affiliate, right? We have an affiliate program and stuff where you can go to, like if you go to VideoExpress.ai /affiliates, this is the page. You'll see that affiliate program, you get about 30% commission. Even if you're promoting VideoExpress, it needs that education component, right? Where does it do well? What type of videos does it do and all that as examples. So even there, you want to come in and bring multiple clips together in the timeline here in the bottom, here in the timeline editor, and merge them together. See, that's the difference. It's like people, if you do that little bit of stuff, then you can just load up all these videos with prompt to video, image to video, and all that. All the images are automated. And then you can go to sleep, right? The videos, 5 videos, 7 videos, whatever, creating at a time. And in our case, you can do 5 right now that are going. And then as the other, once a generating, you copy paste the prompts, and they're so fast. Right now, you can generate each video within about 55 seconds to a minute. Right now in VideoExpress, which is ridiculously fast. So that means, as you're creating more, you can come up with more ideas and keep creating stuff while the other one is being created, create more. That gives you a huge amount of power, because right now the biggest problem with Seed, Dance, Playing, and these other platforms out there, and even Gemini VO3, is you come in like, I'll show you, okay? This is my Gemini account, right? So let's say, for example, I come in here, I'll open up a new chat, and then you go to create video, right? I'll show you. Let's say you want to do it. You can only do 1 video at a time, right? Like you say right here, right? Like, and you see this right here. I'll show you this thing in my thing here. Even in ChatGPT, you can only do 1 video at a time or 1 image at a time and stuff. You see, that's the problem. It's a major issue right now across the board, right? And it's a big headache, and people are trying to solve it, and they're having a lot of trouble with it. Okay. So anyway, the idea is that you go to that page, VideoExpress.ai /workflow, and then you can go into that workflow within the next 15 minutes, and you should be good to go. Okay. And then if you come here, as I told you, I'll give you this workflow, which is last frame, first frame workflow. You'll get that in, and it'll give you that first frame, last frame, and give us feedback to improve that workflow as well. Okay. That's the other thing we're aiming to focus on and help you get better at it. Okay. So hope that helps. I know this training did go a little bit long. I'm sorry about that. I try to feature as much as possible the limited time I have here. Sometimes we want to cover our mistakes as well, so you can learn from mistakes made. Okay. So that said, watch out for our next week's training, because there we're going to add more workflows here. Okay. More viral content. Now we're going to be going more into the details of, for example, we're doing point of view vlogging style videos you can create with VideoExpress. We're going to be talking about like some 2D viral stuff. And Sid and Ali are going to show you that next week coming up. So watch out for that. It's going to be super awesome. And I'm super excited for that one as well. So watch out for those. Okay. Super exciting stuff coming up. All right. So have a great day now around the world. To keep this short, come back after this live stream ends to give me in the comments any questions you have, anything we missed here or whatever. We generally export all the comments as well. And after this is done, and get all the comments in and improve our applications as well. So you don't have to worry if I couldn't answer your question. We generally do end up doing that through the comments. So don't worry if your comment was posted, I will read it. Okay. For sure. Or somebody from my team will read it and pass it on to me. Okay. So watch out for this page for more updates. I look forward to seeing you on our next training sessions. Next week, watch out for Sid and Ali's training. Is going to be awesome. Okay. It's going to build on top of this, more workflows, more step-by-step stuff. Okay. And how do we get the video? This was about the foundations. Now that you have the foundations, hooks, how the first 3 seconds, what's the attention span and all that. Next, you're going to understand, okay, now I got the idea. Instead of being one of the thousands of people creating this type of video or 2D video or point of view, travel, vlogging video, whatever is hot, what is the logic behind why they're doing well? Rather than just having AI do everything, if you understand the logic, you can tweak it slightly, add your own magic to it, little bit of creativity into it, it's going to get you crazy results. Okay. So hope that helps. I look forward to seeing you in our next training sessions. Okay. Watch out for those. Thank you.